How are we? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Deadline stream. Game week 36, and I feel like it is set to be a big one. Apologies that I am slightly late. I said in the chat a little bit earlier that I'm not feeling 100% today. Anyone saying it's still the stag do? I got better, and now I don't know. I woke up this morning. I don't know if you know the feeling like when you don't sleep well, like you sleep really, really badly, and then you just spend the next day feeling like sick. But I didn't sleep badly, but it's basically that feeling. So I don't know. In theory, I hope I get better. In theory, but you never know. Anyway, before we get into the stream, say hello in the chat, and yeah, we will say hello to as many of you as possible. Good morning good morning still to Connor. Good morning to Dan. Good morning to Exy Beast. Good morning to Matt. Good morning to Shane, Immortal, Greg, Dan, Hutchman. Good morning to Sam. Hello to all of the members and moderators in this morning. Thank you all very much for your support. Boss Mike as well. Hello to Shantanu. Hello to Farber, FPL Stinky, Steve, Edwin, at One Waffle, MMB, Richard, Viking, Caleb, Ben, Antonio, Fiona, Lucas, Luke, Ruben, Eddie, Henry, Harry, Luke, Savvy, WO, Gavin, Dorwin, Dominic, Zion, Dylan, Marcus, Nicola, Sam, Callum, Ivan, Tiams, Ope, TPK, Riwaz, Zane, and everyone else. Hello to you all. So, a few caveats going into this morning's stream. I will be making my transfers in about the last 5 minutes before the deadline, most likely. My transfers are dependent on early team news for Manchester City, if we get any. I will be, of course, looking on the usual sources on Twitter. I will share anything with you that I get. But I need to know news on someone like a De Bruyne. I need to know some news on someone like a Marmoush before I confirm any transfers. So my team is not locked in. It won't be locked in until we get there. The bench boost is active. If Gvardiol was to get benched, I think that is the situation where I would deactivate the bench boost and look to play it next week instead, despite me having reservations that Areola will start the next game. But I think Gvardiol is the one. In theory, if he was benched, I could use a hit to sell him instead of David Raya and go to another defender to free up the money for De Bruyne. I'm almost certain I'll own Wissa by the deadline. It's just my plan is to do Mateta to Wissa with my first transfer. And then if Marmoush was to be benched, instead I do Marmoush to Wissa instead. No, Gvardiol is not likely to be benched. But in the very small situation where in theory he was, that is probably all that would cause me not to play the bench boost. But I have no reason to think Gvardiol won't be. He's like their most incredible defender at the moment. But Pep was very positive about Gvardiol in his press conference in the embargoed section last night. And we know what happens when he does that to a player. Normally means they get benched for the next game. But yeah, so there's lots of things going around in my mind. The Wissa transfer is almost guaranteed. It's then just if I take the -4 to go to De Bruyne, which would be Rodgers to De Bruyne and Raya to Flecken. So, your opinion on Savinho, will he get the start today? I don't think he's predicted to start, but I don't think it's impossible that he does. I think that City lineup He could just go with the tried and tested and name a pretty unchanged team, or he could start throwing lots of players in there. So yeah, that would be the -8. Effectively, is Rodgers to De Bruyne and Raya to Flecken worth an 8-point hit for me this week? So yeah, that's where we're at. Triple captain, if you were to play it this week, it would probably be on Burmo. In theory, if we got positive news on De Bruyne, then you could play it there. But I think I'd be playing it on Burmo this week if you had it. You could save it to the last week of the season and play it on Saka away at Southampton or on Salah home to Crystal Palace. Both of these work, but yeah. Don't forget to save your team close to the deadline. I will. In theory, it doesn't matter. So I just said it again. It doesn't matter so much this week because I'm on bench boost and the bench boost is active and the bench boost active is saved. So even if someone's on my bench, it shouldn't matter. Rodgers is slightly worse with the Tielemans injury. Yeah, that's probably right. They're probably slightly less creative without Tielemans in the team, but will they rely a little bit more on Morgan Rodgers to do a bit of that creativity? Remove Savinho against Southampton for Guardiola as an assistant manager. It depends if Savinho starts. If Savinho starts, then I think you play him and you go for a different assistant manager. But if Savinho doesn't start, then obviously not. Would I get Elanga or Gibbs White for a differential? I probably would go Elanga. The fixtures showing are last week's fixtures. I do apologise. That should do it for you. Thank you very much. Do I have a plan if Haaland starts? No, I don't plan on buying Haaland even if he starts, I don't think. It should have updated the fixtures. Surely Haaland starts today? Probably. I still am not sure he's worth the money. Not sure he's worth the money. I still don't think he's worth 15 million. Because I still don't think you can be confident he definitely starts all of the last 3 games. How early do you think we'll get City leaks? We got City leaks 2 minutes before the deadline last week. So I wouldn't be planning on getting it any more than 5 minutes before the deadline. Would I sell Isak for KDB? Probably not. I think Isak's a fine hold for the final 3. If you really need the money and you want to do Isak to Wissa, but I still think I'd save it. Rodgers or Sarr to De Bruyne. So it kind of depends. If you're going to play one of them next week as well, then you need to keep Rodgers. But if you want to, I think Rodgers for me to De Bruyne is a better move because I don't actually need Rodgers next week because then I'll have a midfield which is Saka, Salah and Burmo De Bruyne, which I really like. But is it worth a -4, a -8, and then not have an Arsenal defender as well? If I had like a Saliba or I had Saliba or Kivior in my defence, then I'd be more inclined to do it. But I don't think I would do. Just leaving myself with no Arsenal. Home to Newcastle's okay. Away at Southampton, I would buy one back. But yeah, that would be the plan. If I did the -8 in game week 37 or 38, I would buy an Arsenal defender. The issue is it would probably have to be Kivior. And I don't think it's guaranteed that Kivior definitely plays the last 2 games. Like, could Calafiori get a game at centre-back? Potentially. Would I buy Wissa if I have Isak, Cunha and Wood? No, I wouldn't this week. Like, I'm not selling Cunha or Chris Wood this week, so it would be Isak, and I don't think I'd do it. Last 3 weeks, time to shake it up a bit. But Haaland in, De Bruyne in, and captain. I don't mind that. I would say that your transfers that you need to make at the moment need to be fully dependent on what rank you want to get and whether you're chasing or whether you're holding rank. Because, like, if you're buying a forward this week and you're chasing rank, I don't think you should buy Wissa. I think you should buy Cunha, or I think you should buy Chris Wood if you're chasing rank. But if you're trying to hold rank, then I think you buy Wissa. So I think what you do, and then with captaincy as well, I think if you're holding rank, I think you captain and Burmo. But I think if you're not holding rank, if you're chasing, then I think you look to captain like a De Bruyne if you own them. So, yeah. Salah or Saka to De Bruyne, why don't I just do that? So I wonder that I think I'll probably captain Salah in 37 and 38. So I don't really want to sell Salah. And then Saka has Newcastle at home, a Liverpool team who sound like they're going to rotate again. Newcastle at home and Southampton away. So I don't particularly want to sell either of them. My team value is good enough that I can fit all three of them into my team, and that is tempting. That is tempting. But is just Saka to De Bruyne just the like sensible route? But I do like him. I think he's got great potential over the next few weeks. Cunha versus Wissa. Again, it depends a little bit. If you're chasing, I'd go Cunha. If you're not chasing, I'd go Wissa. I think Wissa's maybe marginally better, but I don't think there's that much in it. But it really depends. We're at the point of the season now where rank will dictate which players you buy and whether you can go for the obvious option. Because I would say like 60% of people feel like they're buying Wissa this week. It might not be that high, but it feels like it is. Thoughts on Isak captain? I don't think it's worth that when there's some good fixtures against Southampton and Ipswich this week. What's the current plan? I would say I'm likely to just do the forward transfer. I think that's the most likely scenario, is that I just do the forward move. I don't think it's impossible that I was to buy De Bruyne, and I actually think if Marmoush was benched, I'd be more likely to do the hit for De Bruyne, because then I'd be going into the game with no Man City attacker. So, yeah. Like, if Marmoush was benched and I was going in with no City attack, I don't think I'd feel very comfortable with that. Would I sell Isak to buy Wood? You also have Wissa and Marmoush. No, I don't love the Chris Wood pick this week. I prefer Cunha and Wissa definitely over Chris Wood. Like, Chris Wood this week is great, but for the final 3 weeks, Wissa and Cunha definitely feel like better buys. On wildcard, would I do a midfield of De Bruyne, Bowen and Burmo, Salah, Eze? I'm not sure I'd go Eze if I was in wildcard this week, unless you've got abundance of transfers to go. I think I'd sacrifice Eze and go with someone else in there. But if you can bench Eze next week, like if your front three is good, then maybe it's fine. Saliba or Sessegnon to start? I'd go Sessegnon. You're on bench boost, but you see that Trippier is yellow flagged. He is expected to be okay. Others are Milenkovic. Like, I don't think there's anyone. Like, it's probably Aït-Nouri if you need a defender outside of the ones you've got. But, yeah. On wildcard, we've done that one. Best 6.8 million replacement for Rodgers. Triple up on Brentford with Sharda. I don't think you need to replace Rodgers. Like, I wouldn't sell Rodgers to Sharda, I don't think. But Sharda would probably be the one in that bracket, or one of the Nottingham Forest midfielders, but I'm not sure I'd do it. Who would I bench out of Welbeck versus Wolves? Brennan Johnson. I don't need to read the rest. I'd bench Brennan Johnson. I'd bench the Spurs player. Rodgers, Mateta to KDB, Wissa. I did read the rest, but I would bench Brennan Johnson. Rodgers, Mateta to De Bruyne, Wissa worth a -4. Yes. It's annoying that I have to throw an extra hit in there of like Raya to Flecken. If it was only a -4, I'd definitely do it. Now, I could do it if I went Evan Nilsson, for example, over Wissa, but Savinho to De Bruyne for free, then Mateta to Wissa for a -4. Yeah, I probably would. Is Mateta to Wissa worth a hit? Probably not. That's the thing. Would I want to have done it when we get to next week? Probably. But is it worth a hit this week? Probably not. Isn't Burmo the best captain? He's top of my ranking. Him or De Bruyne. If we got confirmation on De Bruyne starting or even Haaland starting, then yes, it would be them. But until we get there. Sorry, one sec. Is Salah to De Bruyne stupid? No, it's not. Salah's not been great recently, but I don't mind the transfer, particularly if you're chasing rank, because Salah is still going to be very highly owned this week. I don't think there'll be many captains on Salah, but yeah. Is De Bruyne a starter going to activate your wild card? We don't know yet. We won't know until right up before the deadline. If you can't wait for news, I think the prediction is that De Bruyne will start, but I don't think it's a guarantee. I think the general prediction is that he will start, though. Saka or De Bruyne? I mean, going De Bruyne is the one I would go with. I'm not sure it's worth a transfer between the two. Ain't Nori or Munoz. If I had to start, I wouldn't really want to bench Munoz this week. I wouldn't want to bench. Like, benching any Palace. Like, someone just said in the chat, the Palace fixture away at Spurs is good. Yeah, Anne just literally said they plan on rotating for this week. And that's probably right. Like, they probably will. And then it will be more full strength against Villa than maybe it would have been because they play the Friday and they need some rhythm before the game. Sarr to De Bruyne. I mean, if that's your only way to get to De Bruyne, then yeah. Would I bench Kluivert or Rodgers? I'd bench Rodgers. You have Watkins. Yeah, I'd start Kluivert over Rodgers. I imagine Rodgers will be like the most bench player this week, along with like Saliba. On bench boost, who's more important, De Bruyne or the Forest keeper? I'd just go De Bruyne. I think he's a better long-term pick. I don't actually love having double Forest. I'm almost certain that they're going to leave. They're going to lose their clean sheet at some point, but yeah. Isak to Wissa. If you need the money for something else, then fine, but I don't love the transfer. It's not something I plan on doing. Would I sell Isak for Haaland for free? If we got news that Haaland was going to start, would I do it for free? If you were chasing rank, then yeah, I probably would. I still don't think even if Haaland starts, he's not going to get very highly owned. What's my current plan? My current plan is probably just to buy Wissa. I think. I'm not, like, is De Bruyne worth a -8 point hit over Rodgers this week? Like, is De Bruyne worth 8 over Rodgers? No. Is he worth 8 over Rodgers between now and the end of the season? Probably not, but it's close. The other one is, I just wouldn't, like, would you be that surprised if, like, Raya concedes, like, Raya gets 1 point and Flecken gets the clean sheet, and then suddenly Rodgers doesn't have to pay, like, De Bruyne doesn't have to pay off that much. So that's the only other thing that's playing on my mind, is that Flecken is better than Raya this week, I would say. I would probably say that Flecken is slightly better than Raya, with the fixture away at Ipswich versus Raya being away to Liverpool. I've just got to hope that Ipswich score. I mean, Brentford haven't kept loads of clean sheets, but they have 6 clean sheets this season. They were against Everton, Southampton, West Ham, Leicester, Chelsea, and Forest. So Ipswich, I mean, they 4-3 against Ipswich earlier on in the season. So 6 clean sheets probably isn't worth it, but I just don't think those fixtures are that bad. I did put a poll out on looking at like what the ownership is likely to be of De Bruyne, and it does terrify me, I have to admit. Let me get it up. So like 20, if KDB is leaked to start, 10% are on panic. So outside of that, 33% say they won't own him. So his base ownership is going to be 70%. Plus 30% are looking to captain him. He's going to hit like 100% ownership. And that does terrify me a little bit. Not going without that. Like if he was to score, like let's say he scored a 15-pointer. It would be pretty season defining. Making decisions based on EO got you in the top 20k, but it's killing the fun. Yeah, fair. And I understand that it could do that. I mean, the boring thing is not to take a -8 point hit, because even if De Bruyne scores 15, right, and I take an 8 point hit to buy him, that's only still net 8, isn't it? -4 to get Flecken out. You're using your bench boost. Well, I'm thinking of a -4 to buy Flecken, so I wouldn't take a hit to sell him. I think if Marmoush... But the thing is, I say if Marmoush starts, then I don't need to buy De Bruyne. But everyone's got Marmoush. That it doesn't do anything for my rank. Like, it doesn't do anything positive if Marmoush starts, because everyone's got him. I want him to blank again. So... keep Mateta, get KDB, but I don't see a route to do it. Unless I just do Saka to De Bruyne. I suppose I could do Saka to De Bruyne, but I quite fancy keeping Saka. I just don't think these fixtures are... Liverpool away, Arsenal will want to prove a point a little bit. And it sounds like Liverpool are still on the beach a little bit. Half of them have been on holiday this week. Newcastle at home, their final home game, and then Southampton away on the final day. Why is Saka to De Bruyne not the obvious option? Maybe it should be. I just quite fancy keeping Saka because those fixtures from next week are nice. But just get Saka back next week for De Bruyne. That's 2 transfers though. That's the issue. Bench Bowen or Gibbs White? I would probably bench Bowen. If you've got any Forest at home to Leicester, I think you have to play them. Savinho straight swap to De Bruyne? Yes. Again, like all the City questions need to be with the caveat of waiting till the deadline. So, because we might hear on City and you never know what the lineup's going to look like. -4 for Sarr, Isak to Palmer, Wissa. No, I don't think I'd do that for a hit. No, I don't think I would. Surely free hit this week with good teams playing relegations. is better than the 38 rotation risk last day. The only thing with 38 free hit is there's lots of fixtures in 38 which a lot of people don't own. Like, you could free hit in game week 38 and go triple Arsenal, you'd go triple Bournemouth, you'd go probably double Newcastle, Bowen. So it depends a little bit what your team looks like and if it's fine to play it this week or not. If you've got ownership in lots of those players, like let's say you've got Isak and you've still got Murphy and Livramento, and then you've got lots of other stuff that actually looks quite good on the final day, then yeah, free hit this week looks better. But yeah, it depends. Would I take a -4 to get rid of Timber for Ryan Aït-Nouri on bench boost? Probably not. Probably not. The only issue with Timber is I just feel like every week he's going to be slightly uncertain to start. Like, will Ben White get a game between now and the end of the season? Probably. That's the only issue with Timber. So are you better off just getting rid of him? I don't think it's worth a -4 this week, though. That's the thing. So I probably wouldn't do it. If it's your only Arsenal, yeah, I probably wouldn't do it. When to triple captain, either this week or 38. I don't like the 37 triple captain options very much. It's probably Mbeumo or De Bruyne this week, if not waiting for Saka or Salah on the final day. Would captain, if you're chasing, he's a great differential. If you're not, I don't think it's necessary to captain him. Yeah, like, unfortunately, a lot of the answers for the questions are going to be, it's dependent on what you want. Because if you've got Mbeumo and you've got Chris Wood and you think they're pretty equal, like, yes, you might just want to go with the player who scores the most points, and that's fair enough. But also, lots of us have goals at this point of the season. You might be 5 points ahead of your mini league rival who doesn't own Chris Wood and owns Mbeumo, in which case going for Mbeumo to be safe and letting Chris Wood do enough on the side is fine. But if you're 10 points behind your mini league rival and they don't own Chris Wood, then captaining Chris Wood is a better idea because he's more likely to do enough in order to overturn that thing. Same with rank as well. If you're at a rank you're happy with, captaining a player or buying a player that is likely to damage your rank if they do well is better, right? So Wissa versus Cunha is a perfect example. If you're chasing rank, or add Chris Wood in there, if you're chasing rank, then going Cunha or Chris Wood is a good option. But if you're wanting to play it safe, then buying Wissa is a better option. So I think it's pretty close. And it depends a little bit on what your plans are. Would I leave Wan-Bissaka on the bench boost, or would I transfer him out? I would just leave him. Like, it's not worth a hit. Is there any news on Murillo? No. I'd probably expect him to play. He was walking around on the pitch with the rest of the team at full time, which doesn't imply that it was anything particularly bad. He has taken part in individual training at parts this week as well. So I wouldn't worry too much about Murillo, but you never know. I am checking the predictions. There's a Man City forum called Blue Moon, and they do like predicted lineups. And there's such a mix. Like, I'd say 40% of them have Haaland. I would say 70% have Marmoush, and I'd say about 65% have De Bruyne. It's a complete guess. Gvardiol is in them all, basically. So, I mean, they're predictions, right? People predict lineups and get them horribly wrong all the time. And then they're not in the nose. Crazy thought, is it worth holding on to Salah or selling for De Bruyne? I don't particularly like the sideways switch, if I'm honest. I think De Bruyne is much better this week, but like, Salah away at Brighton at home to Palace in the last two, I think is better than De Bruyne at home to Bournemouth away at Fulham. You've also got to remember that those other two teams that he's playing against I've got something to play for. I don't know if Fulham will going into the final day is the only thing. They will if they beat Brentford next week, but they won't if they don't. But Bournemouth definitely will, unless Palace win the FA Cup. But Bournemouth will have a lot to play for on that Tuesday. Like, that's a big game for Bournemouth. Because they are 1 point above Brentford. But if Bournemouth don't win today, then it kind of fizzles away for them, probably. Like, Bournemouth could go into that game with it being pretty much over. But Bournemouth and Fulham are two teams who, in theory, could still get European football. De Bruyne or Mbeumo captain? I'm on Mbeumo. And even if I buy De Bruyne, it will probably stay on Mbeumo. If you can't get De Bruyne without selling Saka, which City midfielder should I buy so you can keep Saka? Then if you're not buying De Bruyne, I wouldn't buy a City midfielder. Like, I wouldn't buy someone to try and cover De Bruyne that's not De Bruyne. Yeah, so I would just leave it. So, yes, my bench boost is active, yeah. My big concern with saving it is Areola. I really think Fabianski is going to start a game between now and the end of the season. And I think this is the only game I can guarantee that Areola definitely starts. Because game week 37 is their final home game. Game week 38 is their final game full stop. So I don't think it's impossible that Fabianski starts either, if not both of those, because he's leaving. Now, West Ham fans, if there are any in the chat, you can tell me if you think he's a big enough club legend for them to worry about it. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I think he starts one, and I don't want to run the risk of only having... Like, the bench boost doesn't look any better, really, next week. And it comes with a bigger risk of rotation. Areola should start this one, yeah. But the final two is where I have the worry. Tony, would I go Alanga or Sharda? I'd probably go Sharda. I think he's a better hold for the end of the season. The only positive to me with the bench boost this week is I don't have an Arsenal defender. I've got Konza, who's probably slightly better, but there's not that much in it. Would Isak to Wissa and Sar Rodgers to De Bruyne for -4 be a good move? If yes, should it be Sar or Rodgers to go? If you're not going to play that midfielder next week, then I'd sell Rodgers, because I think Sar is better this week than Rodgers. But if you need Rodgers for 37, then I'd sell Sar. Jacob, is Saka, Mateta and Murphy to Cunha, De Bruyne and Bowen worth -8 is bench boost? I'm not sure I'd do Murphy to Bowen for a hit. Probably not. And Saka to De Bruyne for a hit? Again, I've said I probably wouldn't do that. I probably wouldn't. I wish I had more free transfers. If this was even for a -4, I'd be much more on board. Just an 8-point sacrifice at this point of the season doesn't feel like a sensible thing to do. I think the chances are I probably won't buy De Bruyne unless Marmoush is benched. In which case I will do Mateta, Marmoush, Rodgers to like Evan Nielsen. I think it was really annoying. I have to go Evan Nielsen. I would do like this. And Rodgers to De Bruyne. The only issue with this is it doesn't let me get Watkins next week if I wanted him. But that would be, if Marmoush was benched, I'd do something like that. The good thing is it would get me, Evan Nielsen for 38. It would, leave me some money in the bank. I'd probably have to look at doing Sarr to someone next week that I would like. Like, I'd then have 6.5 million for a midfielder for next week, which isn't fantastic, but I'd basically get a 1 week punt because I'd want Wissa, Isak, Evan Nielsen, Saka, De Bruyne and Burmo Salah on the final day. So it'd basically a 1 week punt in 37 for a midfielder. I don't really know who it would be. Like maybe I would go Sharda. Maybe I'd take a 1 week punt on Kevin Sharda at home to Fulham. Maybe I could go back to Mavadidi for home to Ipswich. Trossard or Rodgers? Probably Rodgers. So, yeah, I could take a 1 week punt next week with my free transfer. Like, it might even be that I would buy Rodgers at home to Spurs. Like, maybe that would be what I would do. Or maybe I'd have to sell Sarr this week. Like, and I keep Rodgers for next week. And then I roll 2 transfers into the final day. Why not Palmer over De Bruyne? I got people didn't like that I had Palmer as like my top 4th best midfielder to buy for the rest of the season, but I don't think he's a bad option. I just don't love the Newcastle away, Palace or Newcastle away, Forest away. I don't like the fixtures enough. Because Man United will put out a pretty full strength team in that game because they have the Europa League final, which they do need rhythm for. You're going to bet £100 I won't captain Mbermo. You may as well leave the super chat now because I'm going to captain Mbermo. Like, that's basically one thing that's not going to change before the deadline, unless for some reason, you know, he got heard that he was injured or something. But yeah. Let me. David. That's the one thing in my team that's not going to change, basically. Even if I buy De Bruyne. Even if I buy De Bruyne. He's going to stay my captain. Oh. Ow. Isak, Evanilson to Wissa for a -4. Probably not worth it, actually. Yeah, probably not. Bench boost is active. How confident are we that KDB starts? I'd give it about a 2/3 chance. Probably higher. That did hurt, that. Could have been worse. Is Haaland going to start? I have no idea. I just can't see Marmoush. I mean, Marmoush, Haaland, De Bruyne could all start together. If they all start together, it's dreadful for Marmoush. If we get Haaland starts, De Bruyne starts, Marmoush starts, I'll keep Marmoush, but it's really not very good for him. He'll be so far out on that right wing, basically. Unless Savinho also starts, but yeah. If you've got money to go straight from a Murphy to a De Bruyne, people are saying Rodgers to De Bruyne. Like, yes, as long as we get confirmation that he starts. Rule, you never bench boost in a single. Well, yeah, but there was no other double game week for me to play it in. All the other doubles, I had a chip active, basically. And we thought there might be an extra double. So we ran out of double game weeks. I agree, this bench boost doesn't look great. Doesn't look great, but... But my bench boost is going to be played unless we heard that Gvardiol wasn't going to start. But I don't see that happening. It's going to be a crazy, crazy deadline. I can feel it. Drop a like on the stream and subscribe if you are new. There are 6,000 of you in and only 500 likes. 6,000 of you basically haven't liked the stream. If you could drop a like, let's get it to 1,000. In theory, my elbow hurts. In theory, it could have been worse. Why not wait till 37 when I can have more transfers? My bench doesn't look much better in 37. And I've got the risk that I don't think Areola necessarily starts. So, I'm just going to get it over and done with. You cannot afford De Bruyne. Thoughts on Bowen? I don't mind Bowen. I don't think this is necessarily the best week to buy him. But I don't think this is a bad week for Bowen. I think he's a great pick from now until the end of the season, but I don't think this is probably the worst week to buy him out of the 4 weeks you could have bought him. But I think he's good, like for the long run. In theory, I'm playing my bench boost, yeah. In theory, Isaac and Murphy for Burmo and Cunha, -4. Like the Murphy to Burmo transfer is such an upgrade. is such an upgrade. Surely De Bruyne doesn't start all 3 matches. I think he does. I think he very realistically can. I think there's a chance he just doesn't play the cup final. Like, he hasn't played that much in the FA Cup this season anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in the FA. Them finishing in the top 5 is such a bigger priority for that football club than winning the FA Cup. Like, that Bournemouth at home game is a bigger game than the cup final. If I told City fans you can only win 1 game out of the cup final and Bournemouth at home, they'd pick Bournemouth at home. It's a bigger game for them. That's the thing. Best managers, Pep if you've got a City spot open. If not, then the Brentford manager. Probably the top 2 this week. And then you can just hold them next week. Disagree, you're definitely choosing the cup final. For the majority of us. But I think City, if City were to lose to Bournemouth, I mean, they could still do it if they win their other 2 games. Like, it is fair. But if you told City fans that they could either win the cup or get in the top 5, they would pick top 5 every day of the week. Because Champions League football is much more important to them. They don't want to be in the Europa League. I think he'll start Bournemouth. I mean, I don't think it's guaranteed he plays all of the other 3. I do get that. Which is why I'm a bit uncertain of taking the big hit for him. Is KDB going to play today? We expect him to. Like, it's not guaranteed though. We've got an hour and 15 minutes to go until the deadline. Probably an hour and 14 minutes until we get any sort of team news. But we'll keep an eye on it. If Haaland starts and Marmoush is benched, -4 to get Haaland if you're 50 points behind your mini league rival. Yeah, like if Haaland was to start and you're massively chasing, a -4 to buy Haaland and captain him away at Southampton is great, and I definitely would recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it, though, if you are not chasing. I'm not sure it's worth a hit to captain, but it's also worth noting, and I'm going to say it now, there's a big chance that the site crashes, and I'm fully aware of that. Which, at the end of the day, if the site crashed and I'd made no transfers, it's not the end of the world. I have realistically considered just rolling my transfer this week. The issue would be if Marmoush was benched and the site crashed. Why sell Rodgers over Sarr? Because I don't plan on playing either of them after this week. Because if I did the transfer, I'd have a midfield of Saka and Burmo, Salah, De Bruyne, and I'm not benching any of those for like Rodgers or for Sarr. And so then it basically comes down to who do I prefer this week alone, and particularly if I'm selling Mateta, I definitely prefer Sarr this week. Two Forest defenders? Oh no, tell me about it. I wish I hadn't done it now, but we are where we are with it. I think Sessegnon should play this week, yeah. Is Cunha essential? No. Someone actually asked Cunha versus Wissa earlier. I really don't think there's very much to pick between them. Don't think there's that much between them. I think Wissa is the better safe pick. Cunha if you're chasing, but if we get no news, I'll do Mateta to Wissa under the pretense of no news. I did go through last night and plan out what I think I'd do in certain situations. I'm not 100% guaranteeing that this is what I will do. As I say, this is a vague guide for me, not guaranteed. But if there's no news, I'll just do Mateta to Wissa. It's if they all start, I'm uncertain. If De Gvardiol starts, if De Bruyne's benched, things are easy. If they're both benched, things are easy. If De Bruyne starts, it's where I have an issue. This is cool. This is just memo notepad. It's just, you just put notepad into Google. So I did plan this out. I do have another set of plans if Gvardio's benched as well, but I don't think I'll need those ones. I was suddenly like, hang on, what happens if Gvardio's benched? The other thing, if Gvardio did get benched, would be to sell him and use him to free up the money instead of Raya. Like, I could do Gvardio. So, like, if I did a Rodgers to De Bruyne, for example, I'd have 4.8 for a defender. So I could do it for a -4 if Gvardio got benched. The issue is I then wouldn't have Gvardio for Bournemouth at home, Fulham away, which would stress me right out, I think. I could just sell him, though. So, a few super chats. Triple Captain and Burmo, or what to do. I don't actually mind it this week if you want to play it. Start Burn or Kilman. I'd probably start. I mean, I'm a biased Chelsea fan, so I'd probably go Kilman, but I don't think there's that much in it. Assistant manager, except Brentford. Ooh, up to that price. That's not great. Probably Forest. Salah to De Bruyne and a Marmouche to Wissa for a hit. Salah to De Bruyne, I'm not sure it's worth a hit, no. It is just a bottle of water that I just fill up. I know people will tell me, oh, there's microplastics, but I just keep reusing. Jay, you're 90 up in your mini league. Should you have a bit of fun? KDB for Saar, Sells for Raya, Wissa for Mateta, -8. Bench boost, same bench as you. I mean, if you're 90 points up and you want to go for it, yeah. If we don't have team news, what would I do with Savinho? I probably wouldn't chance for Savinho, personally. If you're currently on Glasner, would I take a hit? I wouldn't sell Glasner for a hit. I probably would sell him for free, though. Actually, I don't think I would. If you've got other stuff to do, I'd probably just keep it on Glasner. Would I bring in Wissa for a -4 out of Ollie and Isak? Probably not, no. 10 points behind your rival. So again, probably captaining someone different to them. Cunha over Wissa, that sort of stuff. Like, I could go Howson. But the only issue with Howson is I then have a real defensive problem next week. I need a defender. I really would want 8 Nori is the issue. Which I could afford if I also sold Mateta. Like, if it was chaos and Marmouche and Gvardio was benched, I would probably do this. I could probably do that and bench boost it. And just sell Double City. I don't know how I feel about that, though. I just really hope Gvardio isn't benched because that's the worst scenarios. But I do have this as a guide. But I've got most of it in my head now. Bench boost 37 is better. It's slightly better, but then it comes with the risk of Areola. So, what about Rodgers to Charlotte? Yeah, I don't mind the transfer. Yeah, you're not chasing. Keep Savinho or De Bruyne for -4. Yeah, it depends on team news. If De Bruyne starts and Savinho doesn't, then if you got confirmation that De Bruyne started, I would do the transfer for a hit because I don't think the general prediction is Savinho won't start, but. Would I bring in Wissa for a -4? Mo, we did this. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't do it. No team news yet. If Haaland starts, should I buy him for free and captain him? It's a great move if you're chasing. Sell Marmouche for Pep or go for Frank? I mean, it depends on news, but probably Frank. If no news for Thomas Frank. Jamie, let me have a look. Bench Bowen or Gibbs White? We did. You said to me, Konza to Mikalenko for your team. Would I then bench boost him 37 given Everton fiction next week? Hopefully you could just start Mikalenko, Jamie. I think that was the plan. But I don't know exactly what your bench would look like. For me, Mbeumo is the best captain, followed by De Bruyne. But I think it's pretty hard to captain De Bruyne unless you get confirmation he starts. No one talking about Cunha. I feel like I've spoken quite a lot about Cunha this week. I think he's a good option. Just it is much safer to go with Wissa. That's because most people are buying him. But I think Cunha's a great differential. 28k, first in your mini league, 54 points ahead of second. Mateta to Wissa for free, or Mateta and Saka to Wissa and De Bruyne. If your second place has De Bruyne, then I would just buy De Bruyne in that situation. No more double game weeks. Nope. Mateta to Wissa and Savinho to De Bruyne for a hit. Same bench as you, but you have Fabianski. Mateta to Wissa and Savinho to De Bruyne for a hit. If you need the money, then yes. People sleeping on Wood. Thank you, Rory, for 33 months as a member. I think Chris Wood's great for this week, but I think if you look for the next 3 weeks, I think likes of Cunha and Wissa are better for that period. Best goalkeeper between now and the end of the season. I think Flecken's got to be up there. Ipswich, Fulham, Wolves. No, they haven't kept loads of clean sheets, so if I was on triple captain this week, it would be Mbeumo, unless we got confirmation that De Bruyne started, and then you could look at him as well. Triple Everton defence or triple Bournemouth defence. It depends which weeks you need them. If you need them in 38, then you need to go Bournemouth. Why isn't Haaland starts in your plans? I don't plan on buying Haaland, even if he starts. I've got to get rid of the bench boost, and I think Fabianski. I think this could be Areola's last West Ham game this season. I think Fabianski could start either of the last two, so I don't want to run that risk. If Wissa isn't worth a hit for Mateta, if you can go straight from Savinho to De Bruyne, I would. I'm not sure Mateta to Wissa is worth it, unless you need the money, right? If Mateta to Wissa gives you that last bit of money to do Savinho or Rodgers to De Bruyne, then it's fine. Like, that's the same. Like, if I do my -8, like, I'm not saying I really think Mateta to Wissa is worth a hit. I definitely don't think Raya to Flecken is worth a hit, but it gives me the money to do Rodgers to De Bruyne. And like, if you're planning to free hit the last day, I don't mind Chris Wood because it's West Ham away next week, which is still not a bad fixture. Forest have really got to win the next two. Saka to De Bruyne. Yeah, I'm not. It's not a transfer I love, but if Marmoush is leaked to be benched, I will sell him. Yeah. Because if he's leaked to be benched, he's then suddenly an issue straight away. And he's not even been that great. De Bruyne, Rodgers to De Bruyne, Murphy to De Bruyne. Yeah, like if you've got the money for those transfers, yes. All of this, of course, reminder, it comes with a caveat that the deadline is in 1 hour, just over an hour, and we should get some sort of team news, but we have done last week. We didn't the week before. So let's wait and see. My general opinion, and I'm completely guessing of this, is that we're more likely to get team news today because the match is later on in the day. I feel like when it's an 11 a.m. deadline and they play at 12:30, stuff happens closer to kickoff. Like, you know, they get up late. They get up at whatever time, you know, they have their food, and wherever the leaks come from, like wherever the team sheet comes out, it probably comes out closer to kickoff. Whereas now, because there's more time in the morning, I'm completely making this up, but I have this assumption that we're slightly more likely to get leaks because the game is slightly later. How about Rodgers to Bowen? Forget about De Bruyne. But that would be for a hit this week. It's something I considered next week. Like, if I just do Mateta to Let's say I do Mateta to Wissa. Like, I can do Sarr to Bowen next week. And then I have Bowen for the final day. Like, then I have Bowen for Forest at home, Ipswich away, which is fine. I could also do Marmoush to Watkins. Like, if I did that, though, I then have a benching headache. Like, I'm benching Rodgers again. Why am I hyping up Forest at home? I'm really not. I really wish I didn't have double Forest defense. I can just see that Jamie Vardy goal wiping out my clean sheet. I really wish I hadn't done it. When I bought the second one, I really should have just bought an Everton defender. I know they didn't do anything last week anyway, but I should have just spread the risk a little bit. I'm now just massive. If Forest don't keep a clean sheet in either this game or next game, we're in trouble. Forest midfielder, probably Elanga over Gibbs White. It's not much in it though. He's just cheaper as well, so I probably would just save the money. News on Murillo, nothing. We're probably hopeful that he's going to play. But if I've got double Forest defence and the week that Murillo gets injured is the week that I play them, oh, gosh. Is Watkins the best forward to buy in 37 for Mateta? Probably, but I need to see how Villa get on today. I am using bench boost, yeah. What a bench it is as well. I'll take one return. And I'm not looking at Areola or Konza for that return. I'm looking at Munoz or Rodgers to get me something. Yeah, double Forest defence is not feeling great. Captain Chris Wood over in Burmo. If you're chasing, go for it. Don't mind it. Chris Wood at home to Leicester. You've got to expect he'll get some sort of chances. What's the average bench boost worth? In a single, like 10. In a double, probably somewhere between 15 and 20. Think Fulham show up with the news their manager is leaving? I haven't seen that. Ange Postecoglou apparently is going to rotate his entire back four. Chaos. This is why I want some of that Palace attack. If Marmoush starts, Mateta to Wissa. Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, Silva isn't leaving. I haven't seen that anywhere. Any chance Mateta's benched this week? I don't think so. Bench boost 36 or 37. Same team as mine, but Kepa, not Areola. Then I'd definitely do it this week because Kepa goes away to City next week. Isn't Raya your actual bench keeper? I think I'd play Raya over Areola this week. He was higher in my benching ranking. That buzz like someone's entering the Royal Rumble. That's good, that. Why Sarr over Rodgers? Because Spurs are set to rotate. I don't know if anyone's seen the clip of Ange. He said there's like this clip of them at like 10, like not even that, 11 o'clock at night in wherever they were playing, saying, tomorrow we prepare, tonight we drink or something. And then his press conference was today because they didn't get back in time. And he basically says, yeah, like tomorrow's game is, he basically, without saying it, says he doesn't care about this game. He'll care about the Villa game, but not this one. It's basically what he says. Right, we are into the final hour before the deadline. Let's put it into subscriber only mode. Oh, that's not what I'm changing. You literally have to subscribe for... Oh, it's already in subscriber only mode. Oh, well. I never took it out of it from last week, by the looks of it. Oh, well. Welcome to subscriber only mode, everyone. 3 points ahead in your mini league. Your rival has De Bruyne. You've the same forwards as me. In your midfield, you've got Bowen for Saka. In defence, you've got Bern, Konate, Martinez. Bowen for Saka. If you've got more money in the bank because you've got Bern for Saka, then I would just go and try and get De Bruyne. But an 8-point hit to cover off someone else's player. What's the chance that the site crashes if we get City leaks? It probably feels... It depends what they are. To be honest. Because if we get City leaks, they're like Marmouche is benched, then yeah, the site is in trouble. But if we get or like De Bruyne is benched, yeah, we've got issues. But if it's like Marmouche starts and De Bruyne starts, then it'll be fine. Like it's happened before where we've been really close to the deadline and we've got good leagues that players have just started that we've all owned and it's fine. But we've also had weeks where suddenly everyone gets benched and then that's when you have an issue because suddenly everyone is on the site as much as possible. You're chasing, would Marmouche be a differential cap or Wood or De Bruyne? I think all of those are differential. I think De Bruyne is probably the least, but I think he's still a good differential. So video starting. We have nothing on City yet. We've got 50 minutes to go to the deadline though, so we weren't expecting much. Is it close between Wood, Wissa? In theory, if you add Cunha in there as well, yes, it's pretty close between them all. To me, it depends on what your rank goal is. If you're chasing, then just don't buy Wissa is kind of my suggestion. If you aren't chasing, then Wissa is the one. If you just want the one who's going to score the most points, I think it's probably Wissa, but I don't think there's much in it. Keeper for bench boost worth a hit. If this is the only week you're going to play the keeper, I don't love the hit for a 1 week punt on a keeper, but maybe you have to chance it. Is Isak a fine hold till the season end? Yes, I think he is. I think he's had loads of big chances over the past few weeks. I think he's had more big chances than Mbeumo. And Mbeumo's had more big chances than Chris Wood over the past 6 weeks as well. Any team news? No, nothing yet. We still got time though. We still have time. Nottingham Forest have joined Newcastle United and Inter Milan in the race to sign Liverpool centre-back Jarell Quansah. Interesting. Interesting. I think that's quite a good signing. Well, if he can start learning how to win some aerial duels, it might be a good signing. I don't wish misfortune on anyone, but I would love City team use carnage. I would love a De Bruyne benching. It would make my life so much easier. Oh, it would be so much more straightforward if it was a De Bruyne bench. Am I bench boosting? Yes, I am. I'm hoping that Areola, Rodgers, Munoz and Quansah combined either covers the -8 or it covers De Bruyne this week. If I put it like that, hopefully people can see that bench boost is active at the top. Is bench boost locked? No, it's not guaranteed because if Gvardiol for some reason didn't start, then I'm not getting City team news carnage. I don't think I am, but it would be nice. Surely Foden deserves a start. Surely Savinho deserves a start, right? Surely Doku. Surely all of them deserve a start, right? Surely they do. I think, Savinho owners. I think they all. Yeah, Grealish. I agree. Who's Shirley? Surely McAtee. It's going to be a front three of McAtee, Foden, Savinho. You wait. Don't call me Shirley. What if Marmouche is benched? Then I'll sell him instead of Mateta. What should you do with Phil Foden? Waiting to see if he starts. If not, sell him to De Bruyne, probably. If De Bruyne is benched, would I sell him or bench him? That's a good question. It depends who your bench is. If your bench is decent, if it's like Rodgers, I'd probably bench him. If you've got Mbeumo, I'd bench him, probably. In theory, they all do deserve starts. But yeah, like Mateta versus a second string Spurs team. Am I really thinking of selling? Yeah, I completely get it. But I am also planning on buying a striker who plays away at Ipswich. So I don't think there's that much in it. Bench boost is active. I think the chance of me buying De Bruyne is getting less. My heart says buy De Bruyne. My head says don't. If I get De Bruyne, my captain will remain on Mbeumo. Yeah. I do think, yeah, my heart says buy De Bruyne for a -8. My head says this is the week you've got to get through. De Bruyne punched Guardiola before the match because he wasn't starting. Good stuff. Yeah, funny. Yeah, like once I get to next week, I'm taking on De Bruyne with like Saka next week, and I don't mind that. And I'm doing it again on the final day, and I also don't mind that as well. So it's just this week, like taking on De Bruyne away at Southampton with Saka away at Liverpool doesn't feel great. Why not bench boost 38? My bench doesn't look great in 38. I'm not sure Areola will start. I've got double Forest against Chelsea. I've got triple Palace at the moment against Liverpool. I've got Marmouche, who the longer we leave it will be an issue. I've got double Villa away at United. I don't think I've got enough. I've got enough players that I'm happy to bury on the bench in 38. So, and you never know. Yeah. 10 points behind number one in your league. Should I play it safe this week, Mateta to Wissa, or chase rank to get Wissa, Cunha, and De Bruyne for Sarr and Mateta? If they don't have De Bruyne, then yeah, I would go for De Bruyne. Depends what your mini league rivals got. Don't take a -8. Just see what I've told you. I can't go and look at the comments. I've seen. If you could write it out here, that would be great. But I'll take a look. City updates. Yeah, we don't know. I'm just guaranteeing that Leicester score. I've fully locked it in my head that Leicester are going to score. I've actually considered selling one of them to free up the money. No City team leaks yet. We're probably a good half hour away from them, if that's what you're waiting for. Thank you, 8,000 of you, for being in and watching. If you haven't already, please drop a like on the stream and subscribe. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thoughts on captaining Gvardiol? If we heard that he was playing left back, I don't hate it that much. I just hate it a little bit. I don't like captaining a defender, but I'd have to know he's at left back. If he's at centre-back, then I wouldn't do it. Harry, do I know any good Macbeth quotes for your exam? No. Someone in the chat, help him out. Help David Masterclass out with some Macbeth quotes, but I don't know any. Sorry, I don't think I did Macbeth at school. I can't even remember now. What's going on? How is everyone doing? Any news on Murillo? No. Nothing yet. One AirPod or wear both. If you're walking around with one AirPod in. Yeah. You need to. That's questionable behavior. Would I sell Salah to Mbermo? No, I wouldn't. In theory, is a good quote. As always, as we get closer, if you do see stuff on Twitter and you want to tag me in it, I will start getting it up. I mean, we're still far away from the deadline, but if you do want to tag me in it. Man City have posted, but just a disclaimer, club admins do not know the lineup. They posted a picture of De Bruyne 4 hours ago. They also posted a picture of Marmoush 46 minutes ago as well. Now, City X Sterling, De Bruyne, Foden, Mahrez running riot when they last went to Southampton. Great. Good stuff. That's exactly what I need to see. A statement that says De Bruyne ran riot. That is not what I need to hear. Areola over Raya. I'd probably go Raya over Areola if you don't have an Arsenal defender. Personally. Dave, 1 free transfer. Sell. Rash and Mateta to Palmer and Evan Nilsson. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't know how much I love. The only thing on buying Palmer, right, is if we get to game week 38 and in some world Chelsea had already confirmed they were top 5, I'm not sure Palmer starts game week 38 because it's just before the Conference League final on the Wednesday. So yeah. That's the only thing with buying Palmer this week. Is Trippier injured? I probably expect him to play. Is Haaland... Would I go Haaland on a free hit only if we get confirmation that he starts? Do I think Ahmad starts? I can't say. I wonder what the Fantasy Football Scout predicted lineups look like. Arsenal is pretty full strength. Villa, yeah, it's the same. Villa has Maatsen over Luka Dean, interestingly. Brentford, yeah, we don't really care. Chelsea, we don't really care. Palace is the same. Who were we looking for? Liverpool's quite strong, actually. City's just unchanged, but Ahmad is in the Man United one, but Adam, I know you're in the chat. I've spent too long on these Man City matchday forums trying to see if there's anyone with a predicted lineup. And I only believe the ones that tell me what I want them to. If De Bruyne starts, Saka De Bruyne, easy choice, no hits. Like, I understand the Saka to De Bruyne thing. I understand the Saka to De Bruyne thing. And maybe it is just the safe play because no one's got Saka. Ooh, I'm going backwards. Just get De Bruyne, you boring man. Thank you very much. That's very kind. I mean, maybe Saka to De Bruyne is... Maybe I should consider it more. Maybe I should consider it more. One sec. Let me get up. Because could I then do Sarta or what? Hang on. Where's the stream? There we go. If I do Saka to De Bruyne and Mateta to Wissa for a -4, right? And I probably am going to do the forward. Is Saka out? No. I'm just doing some planning, right? Next week, right? Next week I could roll, or I do Sarr to Bowen and bench Isak if I wanted to. But I probably would roll, right? Next week. And then in 38, I'd have 2 transfers. In which case, I could go back. I could do Saka to De Bruyne again. De Bruyne to Saka, even. I still need a defender, though. Interesting. Maybe that's what I do. Maybe I just do it. Maybe Saka's just is too exciting. Maybe I just do Saka out. But yeah, is it worth 2 transfers? Is De Bruyne worth 2 transfers? That's the only thing. We don't know any team news yet. Take a hit for a Forest defender? Absolutely not. And not unless you're doing Saliba to a Forest defender to free up money, no. Yeah, I have seen Andy Martin's tweet. Andy Martin has tweeted. The issue is, there's so many of Andy Martin's tweets are not trustworthy and are there to as a joke. So that's the only issue I've got with it. But it is positive for Savinho owners, is what it is. Play Burn or Wan-Bissaka. Burn or Wan-Bissaka. Burn or Wan-Bissaka. Probably Wan-Bissaka, but I am a slightly biased Chelsea fan. Chat, is Saka to De Bruyne the just obvious move? Oh, but it's not worth the 2 transfers that it uses. Is it? Would I sell Savinho for De Bruyne? Also Mateta to Wissa? Is it just worth the... Is it just worth the 2 transfers? People are saying yes. Wood or Cunha? I'd go Cunha personally. I'll be wanting Saka back next week. But they do play in Newcastle next week. Like, no one's going to own Saka next week, really. Do Saka to De Bruyne. It's not worth 2 transfers, but plan A is taking a -8. Yeah, true. True. It takes a second transfer if I was to buy Saka back. That's the second transfer. Luke, wildcarding this week to set up for bench boost next week. Who would I target? Haaland worth a punt? I probably wouldn't, because the issue with Haaland next week is the Bournemouth the home game straight after the cup final. So I'm not sure I'd do that. You need to be in the top 5k, take a risk. I don't. I'm looking more at top 10k. That's all I'm really focused on. That's all I've really got focused on. Salah to De Bruyne for a hit? Probably not, no. You're listening to me while playing RuneScape. Well, I hope you're having fun. Captain De Bruyne or Mbeumo? De Bruyne for me, Mbeumo for me, De Bruyne if you're chasing. Triple captain a top priority, either this week or you wait and play it in game week 38. Saka to De Bruyne for free. It's probably the safe transfer this week. Saka to De Bruyne for free. If Marmoush is benched, which one? Mateta Marmoush out for Wissa Cunha for -4. Or just do the first, just do one of them. Probably just one. Probably just one. We don't know anything on any City team news yet. We've got 33 minutes on my phone until the deadline. Bench boost 36 or 37. I mean, I'm playing mine this week. Skip bench boost this week with Kivior and Bradley. I mean, probably, yeah. And play it next week. Keeping Isak. Yes, that's the plan. Rodgers to De Bruyne. Mateta to Wissa for a hit. Rodgers to De Bruyne and Mateta to Wissa for a hit. Yes, if you could do it with just 2 transfers, I would. If I want to use your triple captain this week, who is the ideal choice? Mbeumo or De Bruyne if we get news that he starts? One of the two. I'm still checking. FPL Tony's got leaks on his Patreon tier 1 membership. Well, that's nice. If anyone wants to sign up and put it in the chat. Salah to De Bruyne for free if it frees up money from Burma as well. I still wouldn't do Salah to De Bruyne, I don't think. Roll with Moyes or get Pep. If you've got the money and the transfer for Pep, I would. I wouldn't do it for a hit, though. I wouldn't do it for a hit. Using your bench boost this week, Salah to De Bruyne or Saka to De Bruyne, not for a -4. I'd rather sell Saka. If you're chasing, then I'd sell Salah. If you're not chasing, then I'd sell Saka. Do I just do? Do I just do both of them? Do I just do Saka to De Bruyne? But then is Saka worth a -4 over Rodgers? Probably. Between now and the end of the season? No? But this is probably the safer route, right? This is the EO play, right? Do I think Bruno will start? Yes, I do. If you've got Martinez instead of Areola, I think I'd still bench boost this week. We don't have anything on the City lineup yet. We're still half an hour to go to the deadline. Maybe I just do Saka. -4. Like, Saka's ownership is crazy low. In this plan, if I do... if I leave De Bruyne in there... Let's say De Bruyne started. Could I do Rodgers to Saka? 0.9 short. I'd have 4.2 for a defender on the final day, which is not the end of the world. Or I could just do Sarr out. I could get them both on the final. I could get them back on the final day. Maybe that's the sensible thing. Maybe that's the boring, sensible thing. But if Saka scores on Sunday, I'm going to really regret it. Captain Cunha over Mbermo if you're chasing. Yeah, if you're chasing, I wouldn't captain Mbermo. He's going to be the most popular captain this week. Locking in early in case the site has issues. One sec. Choose one for the rest of the season. Shada, Gibbs, or Kudos. Shada, Gibbs, White, or Kudos as a good differential. Probably Shada. Probably Shada is the best differential. Why not bench boost 38? My team doesn't look great for it. Like, if we look at this plan, my bench boost in 38 would be Sarr away at Liverpool, Konza away at United, Williams against Chelsea, and Areola away at Ipswich. It's all right, but as soon as someone gets benched on the final day, it doesn't look great. Right, there are 25 minutes to go to the deadline. I have drunk almost a bottle of water, so I am desperate for the toilet. So I'm going to go now rather than stressing about it for the next 25 minutes. I'll be back in 1 minute and 27 seconds. What timing? What timing? One sec. Well, that's early. Do you know what I said about them having stuff early this week? I was right. Well, they were right last week. Oh, do I need a Haaland plan? Who's that in place of? Who's that going to be in place of? Oh no. Oh no. Here we go. Here's the chaos. Oh no. Oh no. We got problems now. Not in theory. Who's it going to be? Who is it going to be? Oh, no, it's going to be someone. What about Marmouche? We don't know anything else yet. It's only one. It's only one. Apparently, yeah. Well, if Andy Martin's tweet is right, then that's Savinho and Haaland in. You'd probably expect Doku not to play. What was their lineup last Premier League game? This is going to be chaos. I mean, it could be Gundogan dropping out. Doku. As always, please take leaks with discretion. These people have not been right 100% of the time. I think they've got one or two wrong in the many years that they've posted stuff. So it does come with a little bit of risk. I do need to add that disclaimer. Like, nothing is ever 100% until the lineup officially comes out. But, yeah. Wow. He plays the team he wants in the cup final. That means De Bruyne won't be false nine. Imagine. Who's it going to be? Whoa. Just hit level 101 on RuneScape. Yeah, I need some more RuneScape content in my life. No one cared for Haaland when he was playing. It's true, but it has a knock-on impact to any of the rest of our players. 20 minutes to go to the deadline. Oh. Is anyone buying Haaland? Is anyone... Let me do a poll. I can't do a poll. Okay, it's frozen. No, my YouTube had frozen. So the news is apparently Haaland starts. That's all we have. I still don't think I'm going to buy him because I'm not certain he starts Bournemouth. I pray it's in De Bruyne's place. Yeah, listen, we've got 19 minutes to go to the deadline. So much of the answers to these questions revolve around City. The source is Lazy FPL. They posted last week. They say De Bruyne is and Marmoush isn't. I think I sell Saka. Right. Marmoush goes. Definitely. Marmoush goes to Wissa. Of course, again, please use the leagues with discretion. They're not 100% guaranteed. They're not 100% guaranteed. They have been wrong once or twice before, but so I mean, Marmoush goes to Wissa, right? So then it's, do I do Mateta and Rodgers to De Bruyne? Or do I just do Saka to De Bruyne? We've still got 17 minutes to go. We've got time. Does this make KDB a better for captain? Do I do Rodgers and Mateta then? Because I could do Rodgers. I could do Mateta to Evan Nilsson. Rodgers to De Bruyne. I could do that. Who else can I get in here? And then I have Evan Nilsson for the final day. Hang on. What does that mean my team looks like for next week? Yeah, but this lets me keep Saka over. Then 37. I can't do Sarter. It's the only thing. I can't do Sarter Bowen. I'm 37. But not that I would need to. I'd probably roll. I've only got one transfer. Everyone doing Marmoush to Wissa. Yeah, they always caveat that you have to use their leaks with discretion because they have had something. They have had something wrong before. Or do I just do? I just sell Saka. Surely I just sell Saka. Surely I just do De Bruyne and Wissa in, -4. And then... Oh, hang on, it's all getting a bit confused. Saka to De Bruyne. Marmoush to Wissa, -4. Next week I have that, and I just use a transfer to sell Mateta to... I could go Watkins. And then on the final day... Or maybe I don't go Watkins and I leave room for Rodgers to Saka or Rodgers to Bowen in 38. Oh, I am tempted by the Evan Nielsen move. I am just going to wait until closer, just in case we get anything else. Just in case we get anything else. I mean, I don't hate this -8. Selling Rodgers to De Bruyne, selling Marmoush, who doesn't start, and then it's just Mateta to Evan Nielsen, who has... I can bench next week. This is the only issue, is I can't do Sarr to Bowen next week, which is what I'd want to do. The City ones are from Lazy FPL. That apparently Haaland and De Bruyne starts, but Marmoush doesn't. There will be hits flying around now. You can, if you want a triple captain, you can play it on... you can play it on De Bruyne if you want. Yeah, I do need to... I should probably do that Marmoush transfer. Yeah, it says that Marmoush is apparently not starting, but... Oh. Get De Bruyne. If I could go Cunha, I would. Like, just really annoying. I'm short of that transfer. Does Timber start? Arsenal tomorrow, so we won't know that. It's only City. Would I do Marmoush to Wood or Cunha? Probably I'd go Cunha. Right, we got 10 minutes. Mateta's ownership's going to suddenly be much higher. Because, yeah. It's been quite a lot of transfers out, but... yeah, it's going to be all right, but... right, let me have a think. Right. Someone said, hang on. Apparently people are saying FPL Tony confirmed it. Right. Okay. Right. So we know we're going to do Marmoush to Wissa. Is De Bruyne worth a hit? Is De Bruyne worth a hit? Or do I just leave it? Oh, vice captain. Oh, thanks, but right now I don't really have one. Unless I buy De Bruyne. 6 minutes. Is De Bruyne worth a 4-point hit over Saka? I am bench boosting, yeah. I am bench boosting. Is De Bruyne worth 4 points over Saka? Or is it worth a -8 over Rodgers? And then it would have to be Evan Nielsen. Rodgers to De Bruyne, Mateta to Evan Nielsen. It gets me Evan Nielsen for 38. That's why I like it. It gets me Evan Nielsen for Leicester at home on the final day. Oh, how long have we got? I've got 5 minutes. Mateta will go big. I'll need Saka for 38. Well, this gets me everything that I want, apart from not having Mateta this week. How long have we got? We don't have much time at all. I really don't know what to do. How have his points been? How have his minutes been? 80, played 60 against United. My bench boost is active. Yeah, Saka to De Bruyne, but is De Bruyne not worth a hit over... Is De Bruyne not worth a hit over... He got a red. Oh, yeah, that's why he only played 69. I think I'm going to do it. Is Saka... What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Right. It's done. It's done. -8. De Bruyne in. Evan Nilsson in. Evan Nilsson prep for the final day. Oh, no. I don't know how I feel. That's either going to make or break my season. You've got like a minute and a half until the deadline. De Bruyne Vice, thank you very much. Well, it's done now. It's done. It's done. I can't undo it now. It's done. Please go and check your teams. Lock it in. Lock it in. Outprice now. Wissa, De Bruyne, and Chris Wood. What is happening? -8. Wissa, De Bruyne, and Chris Wood. Yeah, I don't mind that. Bad move. Good luck though. That's nice. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Just hope Mateta doesn't turn it on, basically. I took a -8. I kept Saka. Let's just refresh and make sure everything's gone through. De Bruyne is in. Bench boost is active with double Palace on it. Let's just hope we get back roughly where we need to be. I am feeling stressed. Anyone can tell? I don't know if that was a good idea. I don't know if that was a good idea. That was what was on my spreadsheet, though. That was what was on my spreadsheet. Now we just got to hope. Watch Rodgers outscore De Bruyne. I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel. Who did I sell? Mateta, Marmouche, and Rodgers. Do I look stressed? Because I feel stressed. They went, hang on. KDB, Wissa, Evan Nielsen in. Starting rank now 9k from 7k before hits. It will be what it will be. I just hope that Saka repays the faith. Oh, I didn't even put that I bench boost. Hang on. 1 minute. One minute. Right, let's just hope the leaks were right. I said I didn't take enough risks, and now I have. Crazy. It drops me from 7k to 9k. I knew what it did before. Oh, right, I actually need to go. My head is fully gone. It's 1:30 here and I've got to go out. So I am going to wrap it up there. Good luck to everyone this week. I hope it goes well. I just hope De Bruyne does something, basically. I do like what my team looks like for the final few weeks. I hope Palace do okay, but it's not Mateta. But yeah. Anyway, have a good one, everyone. Have a lovely weekend. Please like and subscribe before you go, and I will catch you all very soon.